Happy Halloween, everybody! Surprise! Halloween special video from Wrestling with Cards. I'm your host, Zhan Morning, as always. But anyhow, let's talk about some spooky cards. It's Halloween, it's spooky season. There's a lot of interesting cards out there. I know this is a wrestling card channel, and that's mainly what I'm here to talk about. However, I like to dabble, as I've said in the past, with other things in the hobby, and I've located a lot of interesting card sets that are available if you like horror, if you like fun stuff, scary stuff, throwback nostalgia stuff. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I really think in the hobby space of collectibles, specifically trading cards, there's room and there's value in a lot of this stuff. I know it's a lot of it. You know, we talk about wrestling cards. Wrestling cards in general, by most hobby gatekeepers, is considered trash. A lot of this stuff is going to be considered trash too, but I really think that there could be some value in it. That's not what I'm here to talk about. We're here to have fun today, but I'm just doing this as a side note. A lot of these junk sets that I see floating around, they're actually very cool, and you can pick them up cheap, and they may go up in value, but who knows? All right, so today we're going to talk about my 5 favorite spooky card sets. It's going to run the gamut of all kinds of things, but before we get started, let's talk about some honorable mentions that just didn't quite make the cut. Tales from the Crypt, made by Cards, who also made the 1995 WCW main event cards, which I talked about in my original past videos. If you haven't checked that out, you can go check that out. X-Files, most people remember that show. Yes, they had a card series and very odd cards. Blair Witch Project, legendary, one-of-a-kind movie. They had their own card set. Garbage Pail Kids, of course. The gross out factor is what qualifies as the spooky category for me. Parents don't want you to have them. That means kids want them. Same thing with a lot of horror movies and scary stuff. Fangoria magazines, that's another thing that parents didn't want people to have because it's scary and demonic. Qualifies for spooky season to me. And how could we forget, maybe the most scary thing of all, the 1991 Fleer baseball card set. The first card set in my top 5 spooky card sets is the 1993-94 Coca-Cola Monsters of the Gridiron. Most people remember this card set if you're around my age. A lot of people think this is junk. You know, they want the base card set from Topps from the 80s or whatever. Guys, I don't care. These may not be worth that much. Don't care. They're wacky, they're fun, and it's by far my favorite, yes, that's right, my favorite football card set. In 1993 and 1994, Coca-Cola and Proline, everybody's familiar with the Proline products for football, they came together and did a promotional event for the fall and the Halloween season of 93 and 94. 2 different sets were made, as I said, 93 and 94. The idea would be you would get these bottle caps with codes. They may have been in the cases. I'm not sure about those. I can't remember right offhand. And you would call it in, and there's an 800 number, and you would try to win tickets to the Super Bowl. That was the grand prize. There were some other prizes, too. This was for the 93 Super Bowl, but let's not talk about that 93 Super Bowl. So not only were they marketing as, hey, you can win tickets to the Super Bowl, but in specially marked products, there were also these cards available. Usually they came in 2 per pack for whatever you're buying, and they included some of the biggest names in football at the time, decked out in the most ridiculous outfits with the biggest gimmick names, which me being a wrestling fan fit right in at home with me. Maybe that's why I like them so much, but super campy and fun, and I just love it. Each card set included 31 cards, including the checklist, and I was never able to complete the set as a kid. You know, I was always begging anybody I knew, hey, let me trade you for these cards. Hey, mom, dad, grandma, buy these cards. Hey, buddy, tell your parents to go buy these cards, and then I'll trade you. You know, it's the wonders of marketing to children and teenagers. So as I've said before, in the 80s and 90s, no franchise is safe from having a trading card set. I'm not sure what spawned this, because when these cards would come out in this time period, I really didn't know too many people that collected. They collected baseball, basketball, a little bit of football, but you didn't see a lot of people running around with these non-sports trading cards, which in hindsight is very interesting. I don't know. If you collected non-sports cards, leave a comment below. Let me know what you collected. Let me know what you think of these cards. But as I said, no franchise was safe. And that includes my favorite book franchise ever that spanned into everything, including trading cards, Goosebumps. I love these cards. Again, super campy, super cheesy, just a lot of fun. And they reminded me of reading the books. And speaking of the books, that's actually where some of the first cards were found at. I've talked about magazine cards in the past with wrestling and other sports. Everybody remembers Sports Illustrated for Kids ripping the magazine cards out. I've talked about the WCW magazine cards, which are pretty valuable now. Well, Goosebumps had trading cards in their magazine. I have a few examples there, and you can go hunt those down. But that's kind of the first appearance of the Goosebumps trading cards. Topps would go on to also put out an official Goosebumps trading card set. There was also a few other cards put out sporadically through promotions or games or, stuff like that. But they didn't have a huge run. I don't think a lot of these non-sports trading cards did have a long run, but they're very memorable. And when I look at these cards, it just takes me back to elementary school, and it makes me want to jump into one of those Goosebumps books right now and just have a good time, because in the end, whether it's the hobby, whether it's books, whatever we're into, that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, it's having fun. Card set number 3 in my top 5 is a little weird one, and some of you may not know it. Monster in My Pocket. This was originally a toy line that decided to branch out into all different realms of hobby stuff. Action figures, video games, and of course, trading cards. One memory that specifically stands out to me for Monster in My Pocket is the show Nick Arcade. If you grew up in the 90s, you had Nickelodeon, which most kids probably did, I would assume, if you're watching this channel. You probably remember Nick Arcade. Cool video game competition show, one of the first of its kind that I can remember, not counting like the Nintendo World Championship or anything like that. And I remember they had a Monster in My Pocket game, and when I was doing research on some old sets of cards a few years ago, and I came across the Monster in My Pocket cards, I was like, oh yeah, Nick Arcade! So it's amazing just how, once again, trading cards trigger memories of nostalgia, and it's just a blast. In 1991, there was only one set of cards made of Monster in My Pocket. Featured a lot of cool artwork. I like the style of the cards. They look like little paintings. A lot of modern talk about how cards are becoming our version of modern art because we're not necessarily fans of a Picasso or something. So just an interesting dynamic of how this looks like a painting, but it's a little mini card. Super cool. A lot of variety of the monsters in the franchise that would be featured in this card set. But here's a fun fact. Also around the same time, Panini, yes, that Panini, decided to put out stickers, because we all know they put out stickers for a lot of the sports. Well, they decided to put out some stickers for Monster in My Pocket with, get this, prismatic backgrounds. Prism. While Topps was a household name in the sports world, they would just make cards for anything. I'm sure most of you know that if you've ever rummaged through junk bins of cards or just got lots of stuff. You find all these random things Topps released. Well, the next 2 card sets to round out my top 5 spooky card sets, sets 4 and 5, were produced by Topps. And we're going to start out with Creature Feature. Originally released in 1973, but then re-released in 1980, this card set, Creature Feature, features what you would expect. Some of the biggest names from creature feature movies of the past. So you've got Frankenstein, Wolfman, Mummy, etc. Very cool cards, very basic design. Most are black and white, and they have a cool colored border area that just gives it a nice pop. However, the coolest thing in this card set for me is the classic Topps stickers. Most people have seen Topps randomly put the stickers of character cards. We talked a little bit about wrestling. Well, no Topps product is safe. And I absolutely love these. You have the big, bold monster face, and it's got that nice dark background with a color border, thick color border. Most Topps executives, I'm guessing, expected people to pull these off and stick them on binders. However, if you keep them on the cards, they look fantastic. Love this set. And the last card set on the top 5 spooky card sets, in my opinion, once again by Topps, I gave that as a spoiler earlier, is Topps Frightfix. This is going to be a little bit more familiar with modern horror fans. Well, I guess I should say modern for the time they were produced. This card set featured some of the top horror movies from 1979 to 1988. Ghostbusters, if you want to consider that a horror movie, is thrown in here. I guess it has ghosts in it, so ooh, spooky. Poltergeist, The Fly, Nightmare on Elm Street, Aliens, yes, Aliens, both. They were put in there. Very cool cards. Similar to Creature Feature, these featured campy dad jokes and commentary bubbles. They featured the stickers that I had talked about that I love so much. Just basically, Topps took the old school Creature Feature cards, turned them into a more modern horror flicks, and gave it an update. Most all these cards are in color. They're more vibrant than the Creature Feature. So overall, just an updated version of Creature Feature, but both sets are fantastic. Perfect to celebrate Halloween with. So that's it for today's video. Hope everybody enjoyed it. If you like this video, if you like wrestling cards, if you like other cards, hobby stuff, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss any of my uploads, because you never know what's coming at you. Including this new hair. If you like this hair, hit the subscribe button. Also, while you're there, check me out on social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. And if you want to buy anything, support the show, you just want to pick up cool stuff, hey, it's Halloween, Christmas is coming. Go pick up your Christmas gifts at Beast Mode Collectibles. Links down below, eBay, Mercari, and check out my cards. And until next time, see you wrestling fans, and Happy Halloween!